Welcome to ATB TV. I'm Darren Dance here with Peter Morganti on Thursday afternoon. Welcome to everybody. We're just going to go through our couple of runners that we've had for the week. We've got another runner later today, Thursday, which no doubt will be run and won by the time you get this vision. And then we've got a few runners over coming up, including a few first starters, which is always exciting. So, Peter, let's go back and just talk about the two that went round earlier in the week.
Yeah, we go back to last Sunday where we had Periscope run at Edenhope, 2,000 metre race. It was a drop back from 26, I think it was at Ballarat, so that was always going to be a little issue on a tight track, and lo and behold, it's probably what happened. Look, to be fair, I thought halfway we were going to struggle to run anywhere, and the girl did a good job to stay to the rail, but that ended up being the issue in the end. We ran out of room. Look, probably should have ran maybe third.
Third, I thought.
The second horse was the pain in the bum. It kept wobbling all over the place, and unfortunately, just as we were putting our nose into a gap, it all closed up. And we finished fifth, beaten, I don't know, length and 3/4.
Yeah, I was disappointed, obviously not to win that race, but I was probably more disappointed in the fact that we got checked out of it and they didn't bother to protest. It's something I don't understand, but yeah, the fact that he probably should have run third, it would have been okay if we run third. We'd probably think, well, that's a pass mark, you know. 2,000 might have been a bit short, track's a bit tight. I'm not sure about the apprentice situation, but anyway, I think at this point we'll look at giving him one more start. He's still a 58 runner. I'm not sure he's going as good as he was last prep. I know he's in this weekend, and you'll probably need to show something for me to say we want to continue on with him.
Yeah.
He is rising 7, so you know, he's had his issues, and maybe it's all just got to his level and got to his where he is, and there's no improvement left. And if he can't pay his way, then I'm probably going to recommend we move him on. So there'll be a lot riding on this weekend, which we'll come to in a second.
Yep. Earlier today, as we sit here, it's Thursday. There's a very heavy track down at Warrnambool. We saw a bit of evidence of that. Initially I thought that was what the issue was with Intense, but there's been a little bit of feedback since that he got his tongue over the bit. It probably explained why 1,000 metres out he was being ridden up. So I don't think we've had one finish further back, Darren, but he obviously was eased out of the race because of the issue.
Yeah, he pulled him up at the 200. It's a very, very heavy track down there. I'm sure if it wasn't a jumps meeting, they wouldn't be running there. Would have been moved or cancelled. I heard one of the jocks on saying it's bottomless. He was gone 1,000 out, that horse, so okay, and he eased him up at the 200. I thought myself he'd broken down, to be honest, but the good news for that is that he did get his tongue over the bit, and he obviously didn't really handle that bottomless heavy. He's a big, strong, heavy horse, so it's hard for him to get through it. Yeah, disappointing because his run at the carnival at Warrnambool is probably one of the races of the carnival where he come from last on day, I think it was day 1 or day 2, where they just weren't making ground, and he looked like a world beater there, but his last 2 runs have been very poor. So today he's got a genuine excuse. Whether he's had enough this prep, I don't know. We'll talk to Pat Ryan later on about that tomorrow, and then if he's got to come home for a spell, we'll do that, and then we'll reassess what we do with him going forward. But no, that didn't pan out anywhere near what we thought.
No, off that Warrnambool run, you would have been disappointed if he was not finishing top 3.
Yeah.
Pat did mention that he was a bit cantankerous before the race, and they generally are signs that maybe they've had enough. But yeah, not to script. Hopefully in about 3 hours' time we can go to script. We've got Sunburn, who has been racing very well. It's nice to see her out to 1,300. She drops 4 kilos on 2 very good runs at Hamilton, where one she should have won and the other she ran very well. 1,300, up in grey, down in weight.
Yep.
Dean Yendall, drawn a little wide. I'm not worried about that at all on this track. Yeah.
I think last start back to the 1,100, I think in hindsight was probably the wrong move. It's amazing, this horse. You go back to its early runs and it was up fighting for the lead, head right up, holding its breath, doing everything wrong. Got to give Matthew Williams a lot of credit here for getting that horse going. Now he's got to go in the other way, like she's settling out the back and charging home. So out to 1,300, I'm really happy with that. Dean Yendall on board is a massive plus. I don't know how many winners he's ridden in the last week, but it's probably 15.
He rode 5 at the carnival.
He's flying. He's just flying.
There wouldn't be a better rider of Warrnambool.
No, he's a terrific rider anyway, but I thought he's in form. He'll put her in the right spot. He always does. She's drawn wide. I think that'll be a blessing today.
Yeah.
If she gets through that ground and she can match that grade, she'll be in the finish again. I think she's hardly missed a place this prep. So she's going particularly well in that level and that grade, and I can't see any reason why that wouldn't happen again today. I think she's second favourite around $4. There's a $3.20 favourite in there, so you can have a bet on her and you'll get something back if she happens to salute. But I think she's up to it. She handles the wet. She's racing really well. She's thriving down there at the Bull, and on a home track, I think there's a lot of positives. I think she'll win.
3 wide with cover, peel off their back, enter in the straight, down the middle.
Sounds too easy. Sounds too easy.
Say that before with D. Endel. It's sort of almost like he's, what do you call it? He's model. He's the way he rides.
He's just programmed.
He's programmed to do that, and at Warrnambool. So good luck to all the Sunburn owners. Hopefully, as this is going up, I can have the vision of getting across the line first. Tomorrow, Geelong, where we have no runners. Saturday is a day I'm looking forward to. We'll kick off at South Pacific, 2,500 metre. I think it's Adam Lindsay Gordon, I think it's the name of the race from memory. $3.20 favourite. Jay Carr, she's probably knocked $1.50 off the price.
Probably not $5 off.
Barrier 2, look, it's a race where I think it's Hucky. The top weight's got 59. I think we're 54 and a half and all the rest are 54. We probably beat a lot of those horses on 54 really well into the weights on what we've done in the past, probably not so much in Australia, although we're just starting to see him hit his form. Look, he gets every chance in a winter handicap, starting handicap, doesn't he, really?
This would be the weakest race on paper that he's ever contested in his life. He was very unlucky at Warrnambool. Well, we've said a lot about that he's run fourth, probably should have run second.
Well, the form's come out since.
And all the horses around him have all won. None of those horses are in this race. This is 4 grades lower than what he's been running in. He's $3.20 favourite. Got Jamie Carr, he's got the right gait, he's worked well. If you want to use the cliche, does he tick all the boxes? He ticks all the boxes. He was very game at Warrnambool, so he's only got to reproduce that desire and have a little bit of luck. And it's at Flemington, which should suit him. It's a soft 6. I think there's rain forecast tomorrow, so it should still be a soft 6. So it looks the right race for him. If he can't win that, I've got no idea what we're going to do going forward. But anyway, if he does win that, I think a lot of owners, and particularly myself, would be very relieved to get a win on the board. So good luck to everyone. It's the right race for him. There's no negatives. He's just got to want to do it and be free to do it. We did scratch him the other day because the track was firm and we just felt he wasn't really 100% over Warrnambool, but now he is. Stable's upbeat, and it would be great for everyone concerned if he could get the job done.
I agree. You look at the Warrnambool Cup and you look at this race and you look at the little ticks over and above the Warrnambool. Yeah, he's right into it. And look, the market suggests that, doesn't it? 320. Capriccio runs a couple of races later, or 3 races later, in the listed Creswick Stakes. She's a $17 chance. Terrific run in open grade last start, where I think she ran 5th or 6th, but only beaten 2 and a bit. Back to her own age and sex is important. Harry Coffey stays on. It's a race that Daniel's had on the calendar for a while, and yeah, this is a bit of listed type that would be important to this filly going forward.
Yeah, her run was better than it looked last start because she was taking on the older horses. She was disadvantaged by some 12.5 kilos on that weight scale. So she's back to her own age and sex here, so that's massive. And she wasn't disgraced in that race. She wasn't beaten that far, and I felt that she didn't want to take the gap when it presented. So I'm really hopeful here that she's drawn 14, that Harry doesn't try and be too pretty on her, that he's prepared to sit back and then be the widest runner. I think if he gets a bit cute and tries to get cover and tries to get in behind him, I just feel myself watching a few of her races, she's a bit field shy. I'm just not convinced she wants to take gaps. So on what I've seen, you can sort of see her when she goes to take a gap, she sort of gets her head on an angle and you can sort of see her leaning and looking at him as if to say, you know, should I go through there or not? Just a bit hesitant. That'll come with racing. She's only had 7 starts. But if we want to win, our best chance, I think, is to be back and be the widest. The soft 6, beautiful. If it's a 7 or 8, even better still. She's over the odds, probably because of that last run against the older horses, but she's a great each way chance. I would have thought at $17 and $4 a place. I think you'd want to be having something each way for sure. She'll run some race if she's as good as what we think she is.
I reckon just to put a measurement on what you said about, you know, she was in amongst them last when Damien Lane rode her. I think everything when she was going to the front was inside her. So she just had clear air to run to, ran past him. I think we're the second widest gate, so that's the opportunity Harry will be presented with. And I think a lot of the favoured horses are out wide as well. So, you know, the race is going to be out there if he can just get her to the widest part.
She's got such a good turn of foot, such a good finish. She just needs to be able to unleash it at 600.
You'd love to see her at the 300 where he hasn't gone for it because she'll sprint. Yeah,
she's got a great turn of foot, but she needs that clear air at the moment.
Yep. So 2 good chances at headquarters. Sunday, different state. Periscope, we mentioned him before. He goes to a 2,500 metre race, which that element suits. It's up in grade a little to a 72. There is a horse in the race that's actually dual accepted in South Pacific's race. It'd be nice probably if it went to South Pacific's race, Smoking Piero. Look, we're $34 chance, and look, to be fair, that's our price on our form.
What track are we racing?
Murray Bridge, sorry. Nice big track. It's a ripper of a track, actually. It's one of their best assets in South Australia. And yeah, we go there out to a trip. Just want to... Carl Zechner, can't say I've ever heard of him. I thought he was a movie star's name, but he's on board. I think it's about 12 in the race. We're drawn 10.
Well, on his last run, he's very hard to have.
And this is a backup, obviously.
Yeah.
9 days.
9 days.
6 days, sorry.
Week backup, trip to Adelaide. I'm not sure, but he's racing for his future.
Yeah.
If you forgive him last time because he's back to 2000, got checked, could have run 3rd, tight track, nowhere to sort of wind up and hit the line in rhythm. If you're prepared to give all that, and the owners will, they'll probably get sucked in at the $34.
Well, he wasn't far away at Ballarat.
You know, I don't know, I haven't done the form, but, you know.
I think apart from the top 2, Darren, the rest you're not going to be scared of.
He might be able to sneak into 3rd spot, but he'd have to do everything right.
Oh, absolutely.
And he'd have to lift a gear.
Well, maybe 2.
He'd need to find another cog.
And probably not the rail.
No.
Carl, go the outside rail, preferably. So that's Periscope. Now, Sunday, we'll split this into 2. Shine and Dandy, another Dandino. It could be Sunday at Bendigo, and maybe Cranbourne on the Wednesday, which it's midweek city.
Right.
I love the idea of Bendigo.
So do I.
Track that's going to be, you know, alright, it's going to be rain affected, but beautiful, big, long straight. I think we've seen Paul with a couple of our staying fillies go there and just love it. You know, they could balance up in the run and then run home. And that's the idea of this race, because they did toy with another trial.
Yeah, I think
not going to get nothing out of
Quick
a
and Dandy
trial.
Did it win?
Dandy Classic, no, that was Swan Hill. Raised the colours.
Yeah.
Tabooed and won there.
Well, I think Shine and Dandy obviously is another Dandino having its first start for Danny O'Brien for us. Out of a mare we raced, Shiny Lass, who was a good mare. If she had been sounder, she probably would have won a stakes race. They said in her day, so that's why we bred it to Dandino. Reset mare, so this is another one out of that program.
She's tough as nails, she was.
Yeah, so this horse goes okay, but look, I think just talking to the stable this morning, he's probably going to need this. And he may not run because of the wide gate. He might be kept for Cranbourne the following Wednesday. Personally, I'd rather see him go around at Bendigo from the wide gate. I'm hoping there's a few scratchings and they come in a bit.
Chalk and cheese, the tracks, aren't they?
Yeah, I'd just love to see him go around at Bendigo, and I think Will Price rides, and I just want to see him hitting the line. If he, it's 1400 first up. These Dandinos are going to get out to 2000 plus. That other one ran yesterday, didn't it? Savvy Dan was very unlucky, bob of the head over in Perth. So, the horse is doing a good job, and I think this one, I don't know how good he is, but I think we have a really good account of himself wherever he goes. So
the measurement of the reports are they're really happy the way each time they've lifted the bar with a trial. He's good. This is all good.
The message seems to be the same from everyone we've had.
Yeah.
The first preparation, they don't show a hell of a lot, and the trainers are kind of thinking, I don't know about these horses. And then they go out and they come back in this late 3-year-old prep, and it's like they're a different horse. And every trainer said the same thing.
Yeah.
They're getting flogged early, and then they come back that next prep and they're ready, and they really start to show their staying prowess. So looking forward to seeing how Shine and Dandy goes, whether it's at Bendigo or Cranbourne. But Danny O'Brien's a pretty smart trainer. Conditions his horse very well, and I want to get these Dandinos out into all the good stables so that everybody can see what they can do, and hopefully this bloke gives a good account of himself, because I think nearly every other one we have first up is gone enormous.
Yeah, no, they have. He's very much a mix of dad and mum, this one. You're a compact like mum, but dad's exterior.
Pretty dark.
Yeah.
Bit of white.
And he looks like a little racehorse. So
I remember him here as a yearling, and if you went in to feed him, he'd rather bite you than eat his feed, so no wonder he got gelded. But
yeah, because they're all the things that they've seen since too, and noticed the improvement.
So anyway, let's hope he's a real little racehorse.
Yep. Monday, Wangaratta. Tuesday, Pakenham Synthetics, with nothing there. But Cranbourne, we potentially could have 3. If he goes, it could be 3. Crackerjack Prince.
Yep.
And Sea Princess. Miles will talk, not Julie, but it's the same race they're going to. It's a 3-year-old benchmark 64, 1600. Now, this track's going to be rain affected. I think Archie even said if it gets too heavy, he won't go. But
interesting. I don't think there's a lot of rain forecast next week.
I think it's a bit tomorrow, and then after it's fine.
I thought next week was looking fine, so I don't know how heavy these tracks are, because obviously
it's the drying factor.
We can't go to the races at the moment. So,
but anyway, look, we're talking one horse has bounced back off.
Neither horse will run if it's heavy.
No, we'll see Princess. We've seen it.
Neither handle it. So,
and I don't think you want to. You don't want to put Crackerjack Prince to that this early in his prep either.
No, you don't want to flatten him.
You got I know they're a little bit looking at the 3-year-old time frame. There's not, 5 weeks of 3-year-olds to go, and there's some good money there, Super Vobis and all that. But I mean, you're not going to do it for the sake of the horse. Put him on a heavy track if you can't win.
Well, I'll be surprised if Cranbourne is heavy, given that a bit of rain tomorrow and then nothing for 5 days, and it's a sand-based track, so one would think it would dry out. I know it's in a bit of a hollow there, but anyway, we'll just have to wait and see. But look, Crackerjack Prince has been sensational at all career starts, and he's going really well. And he just had a little setback, and he just missed that run the other day at Swan Hill. But he's bounced back, and Archie's got him ready to go for Cranbourne. And I think he knows he's a good horse, and he doesn't want to waste a run. That's the feeling I'm getting. So unless everything's spot on, he's not going to run this horse, because he's really looking after him. That's the way I get it. I think sometimes you get a horse that's a 58er and they just send him. But this bloke, he's on a special program, I reckon. But look, wherever he goes, he's going to be competitive. He's a good horse. He's only going to get better. The further the trip, the better for him. The fitter he gets and the more seasoned he gets, the better for him. I think there's a nice race in him later on. So if he goes to Cranbourne and the track's fine and he's fine, he's going to be right in it.
Oh, absolutely. I looked at that race at Swan Hill, he should have been in. And I like, there was horses there, he just would have the first three. If he wasn't beating them, he was flogging them, I reckon. But anyway, that's the way the ball.
Yeah, well,
Right, he had a little issue, obviously, at a temperature that.
Yeah, he just liked to temp, and you can't take the risk. Nothing come of it, but you can't take the risk, and that's just being professional. The other filly, Sea Princess, who will be in the same race. To be honest, she's a big striding girl. I think it's fair to say she hasn't shown a lot so far, but I just feel that she doesn't handle the wet, and she probably doesn't. I don't know if it's the right track for her either.
Nah, she feels like a sand horse.
Yeah, she gets back in the races, and she just can't get through the mud. So hopefully the track's okay, and she can wind up there. But personally, I would have preferred to see her on a bigger track. But anyway, we'll just wait and see. I'm sure if it's wet, he'll scratch.
They've got contingency plans, no doubt, but they'll probably roll into the middle of next week.
But she needs to lift a gear for me if she's going to. Yeah, I know this is the midweek city meeting, and that's where they think she can win a race. Midweek city, that's about a level at the moment. Maybe she goes better on top of the ground, I don't know. But at this stage, they're in the same race. There can only be one winner, and I think if I had to pick between the two, I'd be on Crackerjack Prince.
I think so. Yep. So that's it. I know. I just listened to some of Lindsay Smith's updates. Cracksman could be first up at Ballarat on the Friday.
Yep.
Again, we're 8 days away.
Yep.
1500 metre. It's on the synthetic, but look, at the moment with trialling at Warrnambool, you can only get on synthetic, and they're 800. So you might as well be going to a 1500 metre race with a stayer and getting a run under his belt. So that would be the plans there. Right in name, there was a 1200 metre race he picked out again. I think it was the following Saturday, but we'll speak about them next week.
Yep. The only other horse that could run, and we say this every week and it never runs, is Melburnian. I think we got an entry today for
Ballantor,
some track I've never heard of in Ireland. So once again, it's entered. If it's not wet, he won't run it, and we'll have to find out.
I'll flick that out.
We'll have to find out tonight exactly what's going on with Melburnian, whether she's actually ever going to go to the races. They must be in a drought or something.
I don't know. Because we've got Royal Ascot on to go over there at the moment.
Yeah, Royal Ascot's on. I've had a look at a few of those races. Obviously, it's pretty limited to who can go and who can compete there with COVID, but obviously the really good mare won last night, Love, for the O'Brien-Coolmore team.
Yep, the Cox Plate runner-up run third?
Yep, ran third, but I did hear on the grapevine that they're not coming to Melbourne this year.
No, Aiden made that pretty clear.
Coming, so it's going to be interesting, the Melbourne Cup this year with all the new rules. If you want to see how many people actually put their horse on a plane and come for the Melbourne Cup, given all the new rules about scintigraphy and CT scans and all the protocols they've brought into place to try and make it safer. So
protocols make it too hard, he said.
Yeah, so maybe he won't be coming, but I'm sure Joseph O'Brien will be coming with Lloyd Williams' horses.
Yeah.
And it'll still be hard to beat. But anyway, we'll stay tuned for that. But I don't think we're going to see 27 horses at Werribee this year.
No.
We'll be lucky to see 10, I think. I think the Japanese might be thinking about coming.
Yep.
I think they've got a sniff that if the Europeans are not coming, maybe it's a year they can come out.
Well, they are enough to beat themselves.
Yeah, or in a normal year. But I think they're thinking it might be a good year to come.
Yep.
Anyway, that's our runners. As Pete said, Royal Ascot's on. Disappointing we can't go to Flemington Saturday. There's zero crowd. I find it a little bit hard to understand, given that there's 7,000 at the football on Friday night at Geelong. Now, I could understand if they said Melbourne people couldn't go to the races, but I can't understand why, if you live in regional Victoria, you couldn't just drive down and stand outside and watch your horse run.
I've lost total, not interest, but so many things that are just so contradictory to what. Look, people from Geelong can fly to Brisbane. People from Melbourne can't, but Melbourne people can come to Geelong.
Yep, that's right.
You work that out.
No, you can't work that out. 7,000 regional Victorians can go to the AFL.
Yep.
Friday night at Geelong. But no regional people can. We can go to Melbourne and have lunch in Burke Street. We can go to Crown Casino and play the pokies. But we can't go to Flemington and stand outside.
Someone did put a good tweet on. I probably really can't sort of bring it out, but it was like he had the scenario of a young bloke who was getting married. You can go to the footy, you can go and have a good night on the Terps with his mates, end up at a brothel and do this and that and all that, and yet he can't bloody, singularly go somewhere, to other places, like it's just...
Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. And I'm not sure I'm just not sure where this is all heading, and I guess that's the concern for the industry is where are we going to be in the spring carnival? And every time there's a little outbreak, does it mean we just shut everything down again?
Well, we sat here this time last year just hoping it would open up, and here we are 12 months later, and we're probably
we're no better off. In some ways we're worse off.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not going to change the rules. We're not going to influence the government.
No. Thank you to the people that jumped on the little dandinos. They were an interested commodity, and I think of our three that we sort of flicked around, that there's 50 odd.
We've sold half of it, haven't we?
We've sold 30 something shares, so there's probably only just
we're about halfway. About halfway through getting them done. So if you haven't caught up with that, have a good look at those dandinos.
Re-promo tomorrow.
Yeah, they'll be yearlings in August, so they're very priced just to recover the costs that we've incurred, nothing more. And the way the dandinos are going, they look like genuine racehorses. Yeah, you've got to be patient, you've got to wait a little bit of time, but I think the rewards will be there at
nice
the end.
little investment at bargain box price. And then, like you said, we've probably only, what are we at, nine runners? 3 horses, 9 races, 2 wins, 4 placings.
Yeah.
Once they get to the track, they're up and about. They're not just dead set. We've got to wait till they're 2,400.
We might have to keep a little premiership table.
Yeah, the Dan premiership.
Who we've had run, how many starts, and how much money they've won. So that'll be interesting.
But he wouldn't have had 20 starters in his whole. Might be 23 or 4.
No, he wouldn't have.
If that, because there's a couple with Cindy Alderson.
I'll tell you, that one's been sold to Adelaide.
Right. But no,
gone to Adelaide,
they're all up and about. And look,
he's probably only had 6 starters.
I think that's it. Yeah,
so probably number 7's coming up next week.
Yep.
Anyway, he's going along quite nicely, and a lot to look forward to with that stock in the future. All right, well, I'm going to wrap it up there and have a good weekend. I guess racing.com, Channel 7 racing station will get another workout. Well, the beer fridge on the deck will get another workout.
If racing.com's numbers aren't up now, they'll never be up. Faster 16 months.
I think I saw some stats on Stradbroke last weekend where obviously Converge dominated.
Yeah.
Another Frankel, by the way.
Yeah.
And we saw a Camelot win at Melbourne as well. I think their turnover was up, I think it was something like 50 million.
Huge numbers.
Massive numbers on the punt. So the government's getting the turnover tax. Maybe it's better that everyone sits at home punting and going to the races, spending the night alcohol.
I hope they're not thinking that way. We might never get back to the mountain yard there.
It's going to be really interesting to see what Flemington do with their renewals for their membership, because anyone that's a member of Flemington, we would have paid 50% last year to maintain, and we've probably been 4 days. It'd be really interesting to see what they got planned for 21-22, whether they're going to ask for full tote odds or they're going to discount it down. I think if they go for full tote odds, there'll be a lot of people pulling out.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, you need value for your money. You're not going to buy something.
And I think there'll be a lot of people who got used to not going to the races.
I've got no doubt.
I think there's a lot of people that just can't wait to get back, but I think the longer this goes, the less inclined people are going to be to rush back to the track.
And the new ones that have got, because basically without footy last winter, racing's been the constant right through it. Now, there'd be a lot of people that would be sitting there, I'll start watching the races. They've got involved. Are you ever going to get them to the track?
Well, there'll be a large percentage that won't go back. No. I think these country clubs will find it hard because they rely on crowds and turnover on track. So
Paul Swanhill last week for 2 years in a row.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just shows you how lucky Warrnambool was.
Oh,
they jumped right in the little window. And they ended up with 30,000 people there.
He's blessed Peter Lynch.
Yeah, what did Swanhill have? 30 owners a day. 75 a day.
All right. Well, until next week, I'm Darren Dance with Peter Morgani. I'll say it again. There's a couple of good chances there.